So, ladies and gentlemen, I am here to show you my dinner for this week that I'm cooking up. And this is a pretty old recipe. It's just, look at that. Look at that. This is so good. It's steaming up on me, so I can't even get a good picture of it. What I got here is I got cabbage. Here's a good picture. I got cabbage, turnips, carrots, and beef kielbasa all in the pot together. And I'm cooking down the cabbage and everything, and I'm cooking it all together. And I got a little bit of dehydrated green peppers in there, right? I got a little bit of potatoes in there, you know, just to thicken it up just a little bit. And I put in some dried peas, you know, split peas. And then, of course, my spices. And I got all kinds of spices. I put a couple bay leaves in there just because I think it gives it a little bit of a better taste. But this is pretty much an old recipe. All you need is one head of cabbage, a couple carrots, you know, and with the carrots, of course, you know, you want to wash the carrots, you want to chop the ends off. And with the cabbage, you want to do the same thing. And that's what I've got here is I've got all this debris that I'm going to take out to my chickens in the morning. They're going to love me when I take this out to them and give it to them. And, you know, they got some nice cabbage leaves and pieces of carrots and stuff in here. And part of the turnip, right, that was trying to grow. So I'm going to take this all out to them, and I'm going to give it to them in the morning. But I got a mess going in my kitchen right now. Look at my sink. My sink is just full of shit. Okay, this is sad. Okay, because this is just like 2 days that I haven't gotten around to doing the dishes. So this is pretty sad. But anyway, one head of cabbage, 2 turnips, a couple of the small little red potatoes, and a couple of the little Idaho potatoes. Just little ones, you know, not the big ones, the little ones. 2 carrots, shredded and chopped. Okay, so I'm gonna shred the top. I'm gonna shred the outside of it, and then I'm gonna chop them in the small pieces. Add it in there. A tablespoon of the split peas. A tablespoon of the dried bell peppers. A little bit of Italian seasoning, a little bit of basil, a little bit of parsley, some ginger, some crushed red pepper to taste, a couple bay leaves, and about 4 or 5 cups of water. Because what's going to happen, as you can see all the steam coming off, the water is going to boil down. So, you know, you might need to add a little bit of water. You might need to just let it boil down. And a kielbasa sausage. Now, I use the beef kielbasa sausage because I don't eat pork. Obviously. Kosher salt. I don't eat pork. But you can use pretty much any meat that you want to use. You can put chicken in there. You can put turkey in there. I've put hot dogs. I've put just the chicken Vienna sausage. Any kind of meat that you want to put in there, you can add to this. And just cook it up and cook it down. And once it's cooked real well, and then you add your spices to taste. Now I add these spices a little bit while it's cooking, but I'll add a little bit more once I've got it cooked down a little bit. Yeah, drink bottles everywhere. I reuse these, by the way, guys. I reuse these for water bottles and drink mixes, and just so you know, I'm not drinking that much every day. I just reuse them. So yeah, that's pretty. It's a simple recipe. I like it. It might not be to your taste, but you might want to uh, try something different. But don't be afraid to uh, try something different. I mean, I wouldn't have done this if it hadn't been for Farmer John bringing me a bunch of cabbage. Okay, and last week I added in bok choy cabbage. Okay, so you know, that gave it a little bit of a different taste. So you know, this is all to your taste, and just be careful when you're doing this, because you see how it's really cooking down, and I got to take the lid off, and see how it's really boiling. So you got to be careful when you're doing this, and let it boil down a little bit, and then you want to turn the temperature down and just let it simmer. And I normally let it simmer for about 20-30 minutes, and then it's good and edible to eat. And this, believe it or not, this will probably feed me for a week and a half. Now, of course, I'm not going to eat it every day, but this is a good meal. It's simple to make. Doesn't take a lot of ingredients, and you can add to it or take away from it as you see fit. You can add turnips or take turnips away. You can add potatoes or take the potatoes away. You can add carrots. You can add pretty much anything you want to add. Like I added into this some green onions and some garlic straight out of my yard. So very easy to make. If you eat dandelions, you can add some dandelions in here. That gives it a little bit of a different flavor. And if you know how to cook pokeweed, you can add a little bit of pokeweed to this too. But simple recipe. I would not recommend you do that with pokeweed unless you know how to cook it, because you can hurt yourself if you don't know how to cook it. But yeah, this is a very simple recipe. It's very edible for me. I like it. As always, if you're going to feed this to animals, always check your animal's dietary restrictions before you give it to any of your animals, because you know, dogs can't have onions. So you know, you need to be aware of that whenever you're cooking something to give it to your pets too. So that's it. That's all I've got for you, and I hope y'all like this. Very simple recipe. This is an old recipe, been around for a long time. I just pulled it out of one of the old recipe books and put my own flair to it. So that's what that's all you need to do is, you know, grab an old recipe book, go on Pinterest, go on Google, look up some of these old recipes, and try them out. Okay, so it's real easy to cook this. So with that, I'm gonna let y'all go. Bicycle.